Spending the last week traveling, we were reminded of just how far we've come in our relationship. Each reflection took us back to the beginnings of our relationship just 6 years ago. We were reminded just how much we've grown together and how many lessons we've learned about life and each other. And from those experiences and most recent changes of getting engaged, we wanted to develop a new direction for our content, bringing you all in personally to hear from us both about life, love, and our lives together as one. This video is the first step in that direction, and we hope you enjoy this meaningful conversation between us both. Thanks for tuning in. We love you all.
Welcome to a conversation with
Zach
and Ashley. Saying that. This is really exciting, y'all, because this is our first video we're doing in this style. And we came up with this idea like a week ago, and Zach was able to just put everything together. So now we're here, first
within
video.
a couple of days. We're trying to get better at like thinking of things and then taking what we're thinking of and actually putting it into action.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of our best ideas are things we just put into play versus like caring too much about making everything perfect.
Yeah.
So I think this was a good step. So just getting here was like just a win. Here. I don't know where the conversation is going to go, what we're going to talk about, but I mean, we talk every day, so
yeah.
Should be,
we just want to give you guys like a little bit of insight into the conversations we have, because we have really good conversations. Sometimes they lead into like heated talks, but then sometimes they're just like really
heated talks about country music and who the best artists are. But no, this is good. I never thought I mean, it's kind of like a podcast style.
Yeah.
Never thought I thought I'd be here, but just didn't know it would be with our channel.
Well, both of us, we like to watch YouTube videos where like you don't have to hold your phone up and like look at your screen in order to learn something from the video. Like we kind of like, you know, like I'll throw on a YouTube video, listen to it while I'm in the shower. And we kind of wanted to bring something like that to our channel, but also mix in some of like Zach's.
Hold it a little closer.
Mix in some of like Zach's edits and like stuff like that. So just a nice switch up.
So we want to document, make our channel more of like, I think the proposal video was the new start of the kind of videos we want to make.
Yeah.
So we want to provide value, talk about life, but do that in a way that's very fun to watch, but also doesn't have to be watched. So the topics are strong enough and valuable enough that you can just sit and listen and gain new perspective in order to effectively use in your life, I guess, whatever we're talking about.
Yeah.
So let's recap the last few months first, probably.
Okay.
So the proposal was a big thing.
Very big.
It's been a huge, like not like the biggest change in the world. Like obviously the status of our relationship is different, but that's just kind of in the head of everybody. Like in terms of physical changes, not much has changed, but I think the direction since we've been engaged has been a lot different because now it's a bigger commitment, number one, and two, you have a big direction in terms of what you want in a wedding and your future together and building your life as adults. So I think the biggest change so far has been like mentally, at least for me. It's like, okay, now I just don't have a girlfriend. I have like a wife. I've always treated you like that, but I think it was easy to do whatever I want before, because it's just like, oh yeah, that's my girl. I'm just kind of doing my own thing. But now when I think of having a wife and a strong woman next to me, I think much bigger now. Like
you kind of see the bigger picture a little more.
See a bigger picture. I don't think I have everything figured out, but I guess think bigger now that I know it's bigger than just me. This is us. This is our future family. So I want my actions to reflect that in a way. Reflect like how I want to be to you, how I want our family to look like, that sort of thing, if that makes sense. It's kind of
that makes sense. I think same. Like, I think more than anything, it's been like a mental type change. And I think that kind of what you're saying. But other than that, I also see like time a little bit differently. Because at first I would think like, oh, us turning 25 is like so far away. But like now we're 23 and like now, you know, we're engaged and like in the next couple years there's like so many things that we want to accomplish. So it just kind of feels like, not that I'm running out of time, but like time is a more prominent factor to me than it was before. So I just kind of want to make the most out of this time that we have now before, you know,
we have bigger commitments.
Yeah. So just like making the most out of my time, out of our time together, just like building, but then also not getting overwhelmed with the fact that like I have to do all this stuff by this age. Because I feel like for the longest time in my head, I would have like mental like time periods where I want to do this by this age and this for that age. And obviously that's not how the real world works. But I feel like when you're young, that's how you think it works. Like when you're young, you be like, yeah, I want to have a baby when I'm 25. But like that's
no can do.
So I think that's really interesting how you grow up, especially like when you leave that college type age and it's like, now I'm not in school anymore. Now it's like I have to choose a career path or like choose a life path for myself. And like, I don't know, it's just a little bit.
It's like a balance. You have to
definitely
learn how to tap into each container. So you're aware of time and how you don't have forever, but you also don't want to. Some people call it like you die at 25, like you have your dream car, dream life, dream house, you got married, you got the kids, and that's it. Like that's how life is going to be. So you have to be constantly exploring and well aware that there's a lot more to life than just hitting these goals by this specific time.
Yeah.
But you also have to realize you can't sit around forever. So there's like a balancing act between those two ideas.
Yeah.
But that's when it can become a lot, because it's like, oh, I'm not trying to focus on time, but I also want to do this.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain how to navigate that. But I think we're doing a good job, and we're doing the things that we want, but we're also not. We don't push against things that might give us resistance. So even when it came to us getting engaged, we wanted to do so a long time ago because we realized that time was of the essence. We don't have forever to be young, but we also realized it may not have been the best time, and we accepted that and let the next moment come up to where we can evaluate the whole situation and see if that might be a better time.
Yeah.
So just constantly being open to new information, new ideas, new perspectives that might shift. Okay, maybe I can push this off to 27. Maybe I can push this off till I'm 30. But I have to realize also that that's coming quickly.
Yeah.
So just being more open. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
It's just a balancing
like
act between
everything.
the two. So the engagement happened. Mentally, that's been a shift. I think it also made us think about the YouTube channel and just how our life has been documented on YouTube. But also, I think I realized that a lot of our life hasn't been documented. And a lot of the things that maybe were missed growing up, and then like how we want to take that and funnel it into the YouTube channel now, because we documented our life, but we also had so many other obligations, like going to school and graduating high school. Like we were in high school.
Yeah.
So we were in high school when we started the YouTube channel. So I think I've realized that when I put the proposal video out, that was a big moment. But I also realized that there's so much more behind that has happened over the past 6 years that
Yeah.
now we want to document on our YouTube channel to give to people like, hey, this is where we've been. This is what we've learned in our relationship. This is how we got to this point. This is how we've built our life individually and together. So I think we're moving in that direction.
Yeah. I also feel like when we started our YouTube channel, like obviously our relationship was fresh between us, and I don't know, I think after a while it just felt a little weird giving advice while I was also learning, like being so young, because we were young, we were like 17. So like now that we've had so many years together, we've had so many experiences together, I think now I feel more confident and I feel more comfortable sharing our experiences and like, you know, offering advice, because like we've lived through it for so long and it's not something that's so fresh anymore. Right. So
we've lived through a lot more phases.
Yeah.
And I think we tried to, when we first got together, we were at the bottom phase, moving into a new phase, but we gave a lot of advice based on being at the bottom phase per se.
Yeah.
Not that that's like we didn't work through stages at that point in time, but it was so new and we were still in the honeymoon phase and we weren't as mature as we are now. So looking back, it was good advice. We still stick by the principles.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
a lot, but I also know a lot has changed.
Yeah.
So the periods of time we did take a step back, I do appreciate, because it was us going through phases in our relationship to get to the next phase. It wasn't that we didn't want to film YouTube videos.
Yeah.
It wasn't that we didn't want to document our journey at that specific time. The problem is it's very hard, at least in a relationship, to document those growing pains and give advice at the same time when you're working through the stage. So when you enter out of the stages, it's much easier to be like, hey, this is where I've been the past 4 years. This is the things that we've worked through. Let's document that. At least in a relationship. In business or other things, it's easier to talk about it because you talk about your losses, your failures, that type of thing. And I just think the relationship field is a lot different to try to, because it's so personal. It's so personal.
It's very personal.
It tugs at your heart a lot. So, but I say all that to say we did a great job, I think, at stepping back.
For sure.
And realizing documenting on YouTube and posting every single week while we were working through those phases wasn't realistic. So we weren't going to do that. We were still going to focus on our goal of building a channel. But the biggest thing was making sure that we were working through the phases and taking the actual steps to do that. So now we can talk about
anything.
I think we're still working through stages, but and I'm sure we'll go through more stages, but I think we have a better grip on how to navigate those phases with, or stages with, our channel, what we're documenting. So probably don't plan to take as many breaks as we did, but
no, definitely not,
because this is starting to become our life more and what we want to do. How do you think your journey as an influencer is changing, and what are your future plans as you are about to graduate college? Congratulations. Congratulations, Ashley. She's about to graduate college and take a new step. So how do you see your life changing?
How do I see my life?
Let's I'll backtrack. I'll ask you one question at a time. How do you see your journey as an influencer changing? And then I have a follow-up question that kind of goes with that, but
I just kind of see myself taking it on as like more of a primary focus, because I feel like for the longest time I've only been able to apply bits and pieces of myself to it because I've had so many other things going on. And I feel like when I graduate college, I can like put my all into it. So I kind of see it changing in a way that I I can document a little bit better and just share more. I guess just share more of my life, because I feel like there's so many things that I do every single day that I don't post about just because I don't have the time to, but like I want to. So I feel like when I finish or like step away from all the commitments that I have now and like put all my time and energy, I think I'm going to see, I don't know, I guess a shift into my content, because I want to do like what we're doing now a little bit more, just like putting more of my voice out there rather than just videos that are, you know, like fashion based, hair based type stuff. I want to do more, just put more of my voice into the things that I post, if that makes sense. And then also on top of that, just following my passions and like documenting my passions, because we talk about, or I tell you all the things that I want to do, you know, in the next coming year. Like I want to do, you know, step into equestrian, like I want to travel, like I want to do so many different things. And I think it would be really fun to take everybody along with me as I try those things and learn those things. And yeah.
That's good. Is it hard not to lose yourself in this field when you see, well, when we started there was influencers, but it was usually just on YouTube or not really Twitter, and Instagram was aesthetics and just pictures. But as the scene changes for influencers and everything is video based, at least 15 to 30 seconds, where people are putting their voice out there, do you think it's hard not to lose yourself in that? And then of course now you have AI and there's fake voices out there, so there's so many different, everybody has a word, everybody has something to say, everybody wants to put a piece out there through these video forms. So how do you not lose yourself in that?
I kind of take your advice, and like I've started to write or like jot down ideas or even do like voice memos and just kind of strategize what I want to say, the points that I want to make, because I feel like it is really easy to kind of not get to the point quick enough. Like when I'm doing a voiceover, sometimes I find myself like, what am I even saying? Like, is what I'm saying in this video, does this even make sense? Like, is this even gonna help someone? So then I'll like go back to the goal that I was trying to make for that video and then like redo the entire voice piece, or like film again, you know, the advice video that I was doing, because I do want everything I say to have meaning, and I want it to be like said in a way that people can understand what I'm saying within like the first 10 to 15 seconds.
But how do you not lose yourself?
What do you mean?
In this world, I get how you want to connect with people, but how do you not lose yourself?
Like not lose sight of
who you are as an influencer.
I was literally caught myself doing this last week, but I'll see the things that other people are doing. Like, for example, like everyone's getting ready for Fashion Week right now. And I'll remember that, like, what is my goal, my long-term goal in doing this? And I feel like for me, one of the ways that I stay authentic to myself is remembering who I do it for and why I do it. So I don't do content creating so that I can go to the next event. Like, I do it for myself. I do it to inspire people. I do it to document my experiences, my family experiences, our experiences. And when I remember those things, I remember what's most important. And that is being myself, and just being myself, not worrying about going to the next event, not worried about, you know, the next paid collaboration that I have, and just focusing on the story that I want to tell. So, yeah.
That's good.
What do you think sets you apart from like other men in the industry, in like the content creating industry, influencer industry? Because I think there's a lot of things that set you apart, but I want to hear what you think that sets you apart.
Well, I probably don't display it enough, but maybe my personality and just how I think about things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I know it all by any means, and I don't think the way I think is the absolute right way or the only way.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that through my journey of life, through doing things typically against the how it's usually done,
Yeah.
I think I've been able to develop a perspective that I'm my own individual,
Mm-hmm.
which then influences the actions that I take to, I guess, defend that identity that I abide by, that I'm my own individual and I'm a creator at heart in anything that I want to create. So I think just having that type of personality might be something that sets me apart. There's probably a lot of other people like that, but I think that's one thing that might set me apart, and just thinking differently about things that
Mm-hmm.
people may think, or most of the world may think is the best way to think or the only way. I might think a little bit different than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I found a lot of joy and fulfillment through doing that. So I'm trying to, in my content, communicate those ideas that I stand on,
Mm-hmm.
which hopefully will set me apart. So if that makes sense.
That makes sense. So, like, what's one idea that you really want people to understand that, like, you have that many people may not have?
Well, I want to say it in a way that's I don't want to put myself above anybody's like way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't think my way is the best way or the only way.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times in the space, a lot of people, there's a common idea that there's a game of chasing after women and being on the scene and
Mm-hmm.
going out to clubs and getting with multiple. Like, I just don't operate like that.
Yeah.
I find joy in loving one. Actually, like, that's where I find my joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to communicate through my content. There can be joy in having one relationship and one woman and not looking anywhere else. Or I'm not saying not looking anywhere else, like you just completely can get that out of your head, but that's something that I firmly believed in, that has helped me not only in our relationship, but just as a man be better and find joy in having one relationship. That's just one idea, but I see contradicting ideas, which is
Mm-hmm.
perfectly fine. I'm not saying my way is the right way or the best way, but that's one thing that I want to communicate through my content that has helped me, is being in a committed relationship and the joys you can experience in that, and the joys you can experience in getting better and loving one individual, and how that reflects you becoming a better man and a better dad one day, and whatever it is. So
Yeah.
like, that's what I want to communicate. Like, that's just one thing, but, and again, it's not to knock anybody else's opinion. It may not work for someone else,
Mm-hmm.
but that's one thing that's helped me. But that's one idea that might set me apart.
Yeah.
So was that?
No, that was good. I was about to say that I feel like one thing that really sets you apart to me, and like that's the one thing that I noticed in the beginning, like that really made you stand out, is that, okay, I'm not trying to generalize, but a lot of the ideas and stereotypes that people have for men, or even that men have for themselves, I feel like you kind of just go against them. Like, just because someone says a man should do this doesn't mean that it's right, or that doesn't mean that's the only way. And I feel like for at least as long as I've known you, you've always made it a point to prove like those things wrong. You know what I mean? Or
because
prove those things.
we create these boxes. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Welcome.
But to touch on it, we create these boxes in our own heads that men are dogs, men are visual creatures, men love to display their energy through output, how they through their actions, whatever it may be. Men are, I'm looking for a word for it. Men are, yeah. So I'll stop this, but you get the point. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to abide by that either. If that's your identity, if you say, hey, we're just visual creatures, or we just got that dog in us. Mm-hmm. The more and more you tell yourself that, I feel like the more and more you identify with it, and then anything that comes against that identity, you work to defend. Like, oh no, I'm just a visual guy. What do you mean? Like, yeah, you can break that. You can identify with something new. You can identify with, oh, I'm a strong man. I'm a disciplined man. Mm-hmm. I'm a man that contains my energy. I'm a man that tries to keep my head up and doesn't look the other way when I have the opportunity to. Mm-hmm. That's not to negate the fact that you may have that dog in you, or that slime, or whatever you want to call it. But you're identifying with a new thing that will help you combat maybe something that you may struggle with, or maybe something that's not necessarily good for you. So you don't suppress yourself by getting rid of that dog, or trying to suppress. You don't suppress like your nature or your image or your character by suppressing that dog in you. You're just choosing your higher purpose. Yeah. In that instance. So I may have that energy in me that I just want to get out some way, somehow. Mm-hmm. But if I don't identify with it, and I identify with another identity that might serve my higher purpose better, then that probably suits me a little bit better. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm perfect or I don't struggle. But I just try to choose my higher purpose. Yeah. And my higher purpose to you is commitment and loving you and exploring you and using my energy to be able to do that the best that I can. Okay. Ashley's coming to join me because
that was good though. That was very beautifully put. Beautifully put. I think that more men should think that way.
Yeah, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I'm not here to tell. I would never tell anybody they're wrong. Yeah. I just put the information out there in the world to say, hey, this is what I think. I don't think anybody is 100% right. There may be better ways to do things than others, but I never want to get into a frame of mind that, hey, I'm perfect, or hey, I can't change my frame of mind or my identity or whatever it is. Like, I'm not perfect.
I don't think you're perfect, but I think you're a great guy. Perfect for me.
So I don't even know how I'm gonna like edit or cut this video. It's okay. And if that memory card is full, that was one big clip. Yeah. Because that was 128 gigabytes of
card. But I filmed my video just like 2 days ago. So, and my video was like,
it wasn't on that memory card though. That's new.
Oh.
Hopefully it didn't.
Are you sure? You put a new one in there? Because I put the 128 one in there.
No, I took it out. So there was nothing in there. Let's talk because this is okay. So I don't know. Maybe we should like end it here.
Okay.
Or
we can end it here.
Or talk about our road trip. We could do it like a little intro to our road trip.
Okay.
You want to do an intro?
And then we'll do talk about road trip in the next one or something. Or just the next one could be just about like traveling
or whatever topics we get from this.
All right. I think this is a nice intro to like how the vibe of our conversations are gonna go. So
yeah.
If you guys follow us on social media, we did just do a 5-state road trip, and during that road trip we learned a lot about the US and being on the road and each other. I feel like every trip we go on we learn something else about each other, but one of the reasons why we really wanted to do a road trip was because I've heard so many things about a road trip offering you like insight, and we were both kind of at the point a month ago where we just wanted to get away, wanted to hit the open road, like, you know, just kind of live. And I can 100% say that that is very, very true. I think after our road trip, just being in different settings and having to overcome the small challenges that we did, like figuring out where to go or like trying to figure out, you know, what to do in each state, because we didn't have like a whole set itinerary. What's that? We didn't have a set itinerary. We kind of just like rolled with the punches. So I feel like we were able to explore so much by just being together and like seeing where the road leads us. And I feel like that can also reflect like life. Like if you're with the right person, you can just be together and you kind of just see where life takes you. Like everything doesn't have to be so planned and so calculated. And as someone who loves to plan, I think that was really good to just kind of like kick back and just be like, oh, what's on this? Well, if you turn this way, what's over here? Like, you know what I mean? So I think that was very fun.
The novelty of exploring something new.
Yeah, for sure.
They call it novelty, like something new.
I don't really know.
Novel. I think that's what you call it. I could be wrong. Like you're a novice. You're a novice at something. Like you're new.
Not really.
The novelty of exploration. No, I really think that's it. Oh, but besides the point, that's well said.
Yeah.
Exploration is important. I'm not going to rap. So go out into the world, explore, see new things, let those new things influence you, and allow them. Our set is literally breaking down. So we're hanging on here, but allow those new things to influence you and the things you want to do in life. Mm-hmm. So never be afraid to question yourself and things that might help you to be better.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your candor.
Hopefully this video turns out well.
So yeah, that's when I divergent. Whenever someone like shares the truth, you have to be like, thank you for your candor.
Thank you for your candor. Thank you for your
I've been watching a lot of movies like the past week, so I just have a lot of movie quotes just floating around in my head. So
we gotta talk about some movies on here. I've been tuning into more movies this year.
You actually have. You've been tuning into a lot more movies, but I feel like we're gonna have a movie conversation. We should definitely include Jeremiah McBride.
I'm down. We gotta fix this whole setup and gear thing. But thank you guys for watching our first video. It is the most perfect video. I love that saying, imperfect perfect, because it's like it didn't start out perfect, but it is like turned out to be perfect, because if it impacted you, that's all that matters. So got this little lens filter.
Let me see.
So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Me and Ash are gonna go do what couples do and love each other. So thanks for watching, guys. Peace.